What monument did they take down?
Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Glad to have you aboard as we head down the home stretch to Christmas here.
I know, it's been a quick ride, that's
a week
for sure.
From today.
Yes.
Wow. It's zipping right along, and a little more pleasant weather today than we had yesterday. Good Lord, that weekend was unbelievable. Wind blowing. You see these American flags, these big, huge American flags that they have at places like Dan Baden Chevrolet, and there's a carpet place, and there's one right in the middle if you get at the end of the Truman Parkway. And those things, I don't know how heavy they are just by themselves, but they're soaking wet because of all the rain, and they're standing straight out. That's how much the wind was blowing yesterday. And my wife and I do volunteer work at church where we open the door for people. I got soaked. I mean, there was an overhang and everything else. Every time you open the door, it was hard enough to open the door with the wind, and then the rain coming in on you. It was just unbelievable. But that tropical storm I'm sure it's climate change.
Of course.
I'm sure it's because John Kerry and old Boltneck and some of his Confederates are using their private jets and telling us not to.
Yeah. Well, they did have like a 3-week summit, which I feel a little bit excessive, but who am I? Who am I?
Yeah, these people that are trying to rule the world and tell you what to do, but of course they're not going to obey any of those rules that they're telling you to obey.
No, but hopefully you guys stayed out of the weather. I know that there was some big flooding around in Savannah.
And and I went. I braved the weather to go to the hockey game yesterday, the Ghost Pirates game, and I figured, the weather is so bad, very few people are going to show up. So the place was packed.
There was nothing else to do, Bill. There was nothing else to do.
But you've got you've got to park at least 5 miles away from the arena anyway. But to walk through all that stuff, oh geez. But at any rate, it was
all the husbands that dropped off their wives and then they walked in.
Yeah. I saw a lot of wives there. At least women. Whether they were married or not is a different story.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, glad to have you aboard. And guess who has gone to Israel and is meeting right now with the Israeli Prime Minister and Defense Minister, Lloyd Austin, that brilliant Secretary of Defense that we have. And I'm sure there's going to be some whining about civilian casualties. Can you imagine if after we'd started World War II, and some other power came to us and said, you got to be careful when you're doing these bombings and stuff, not to hurt anybody except the military. Oh, please.
Well, and I do
that
think
ain't how war works.
It isn't, but I do think that social media has definitely changed it because you can see so much without it being filtered through the news and things like that. So I think that it has changed the dynamic of war and how accessible it is to everyone. And if you're not in that industry, I think that it's appalling to you, and I think that it does create a lot more backlash than they are used to. Because in World War II, we didn't see all the ugly stuff. We just
And the media was on our side.
Yeah.
Well. I know a lot of you.
The media's really confused right now, though. They don't know what to do.
I know, yeah. But if you're under 40, you may not believe this, but once upon a time, Hollywood and the media were both on our side.
They believed in being Americans. That's the big difference, I think.
Yeah, and they could say, we might be sleaze bags or anything, mafia or anything else, but we're red, white, and blue, brother. That's for sure. Not so much anymore.
No, well, I'll tell you what. Some of the stuff that came out over the weekend, the thing that dropped on Friday was, of course, the staffer who filmed himself getting real friendly with someone in the Senate chambers. I did not pull the video because I think you've all seen it and we don't need to see any more of it. But I do think that this just shows how depraved a lot of these people are. Of course, he was fired. He will be criminally charged, which I'm actually shocked about, but he will be criminally charged.
Well, we don't.
Which is a good thing. I think that we need to uphold standards, and definitely that is not... and this also comes from the senator from Maryland. It was his staffer, and he's the one that said, this, because of January 6th, this is, they desecrated on this building and how sacred it is. And, I'm like,
Precious
well,
democracy.
yeah, well, and there's lots of pictures with Joe Biden and this staffer as well. So he was pretty tied in up there, and
he didn't know anything about it. Didn't have anything to do with it.
No, but here's the thing, Bill. I think that we've allowed people to think that things are okay that are not okay. Like that is, it's disgusting. When you see who they've chosen for a lot of these offices, and who was it? The guy that was. I don't even know what his job was. All I know about him is that he was stealing people's luggage, and he worked in the Biden administration.
Oh, he didn't have a very important job. He was only the second in command of our nuclear codes and nuclear arsenal.
So you have that guy. You have the head of Health and Human Services, the trans first women's general that's really a man.
Rachel Levine.
Yeah. So I mean, these people are just disgusting. I don't even keep track of their names.
Fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Yeah. So, but we were told that normalcy was going to return, that integrity was going to return to this administration.
Oh, every time you hear something like that, you can just better hold on to your wallet, because we heard that from Nancy Pelosi when the Dalai Lama was elected, about how this is going to be the most open-minded. Remember, the Dalai Lama was going to have all of these, all the bills that and everything that went before Congress was going to be made public. We're going to put that up, and we're going to have 5 days to vet all of this legislation. And by the way, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. So this just goes on and on and on. So anytime you hear the Democrats talking about integrity, you better hold on to your wallet.
Yeah, and Lizzie Warren says decency is back. Eye roll. Yeah, definitely not in this administration, and that's why I'm. 2024, a big year for everyone.
You
so
betcha.
I don't know, Bill. I'm not really sure what people are going to do, because I'm still just a little bit disenfranchised with the fact that we have about 60 to 70% of Christians that don't vote. It's a huge issue when you are letting people that we need people with moral character to be choosing our leadership. And I think when they don't get involved, I think it's a huge problem. And a lot of the churches do not want to address this issue, but they need to. It's important, because they're also going to lose their. Christians are under attack right now as well. So it's I can't believe they're not getting involved right now.
And silence is not golden; it's yellow.
Yeah.
So don't be 24 karat out there. You've got to get involved. You got to get in this race. You've got to get in this fight. There's no other way about it. You got to learn to street fight, and that's what the Democrats are doing.
Well, starting in January, 11 months. Give 11 months of your time. Give 2 hours a month to fighting this cause.
January is 2 weeks from today, by the way.
Yeah. Well, and Lizzie Warren says some pastors actively discourage voting because it's of the world. Yeah. We're past that time.
Yeah. Forget that stuff.
Yeah. And one of the things that I'm hearing the polling, Bill, which every time I like it when the polls work for me, but when they start to get out of whack, I don't like that. But I also think that they're used to manipulate people. And they're now saying that Nikki Haley is within 15 points of Donald Trump in New Hampshire. That just seems very unlikely to me, but, maybe it's true. Maybe Sununu had a big impact. But Nikki Haley definitely criticizing Trump over the weekend and basically telling the media that they're obsessed with him, which I don't disagree.
Yeah.
There are things I agree with the president on. I had a good working relationship with him. There are things I don't agree. I don't agree with the fact that, yes, we had a good economy while he was there, but he put us $8 trillion in debt that our kids are never going to forgive us for. I don't agree with how he handles national security. He focused on trade with China, but he did nothing about the fentanyl flow. He did nothing about the fact that fentanyl has killed so many of our Americans. I don't think you should praise Hezbollah. I don't think you should criticize Netanyahu when Israel's down on her knees. I don't think you should congratulate the Chinese Communist Party on their 70th anniversary. I think that when it comes to national security, we don't praise thugs. We let them know where we stand, and we let them know they'll be held to pay if they do anything against us. That's who I am.
I mean, he's running on retribution. He wants to go out, and he talks about annihilating his enemies and using the criminal justice system to do so. What do you think of that?
You guys are exhausting. You're exhausting in your obsession with him. The thing is, The normal people aren't obsessed with Trump like you guys are. The normal people care about the fact that they can't afford things. They feel like their freedoms are being taken away. They think government's too big. I know y'all want to talk about every single word he says and every single tweet he does. That's exactly why we need a new generational leader. Because people don't want to hear about every word a person says or every tweet. They want to know how you fought for them that day. And they want to know how their life is going to be different. And life would be a whole lot different if the media would stop this obsession with Trump.
I mean, I was just asking you about his central campaign theme, which is, I am your retribution. And he's winning in the polls. That's why I'm asking.
Well, if I could,
I'm asking about the leading candidate that you're
he does everything.
Oh, Nikki Haley. I don't know.
So there's a poll out today, actually, that says that Nikki Haley and Donald Trump would both beat Joe Biden if the election were held today. Of course, they say the old saying goes, if the election were held today, a lot of people would be really surprised.
Yeah,
but nevertheless, you can't believe polls, especially this far out. But I still want to know who the 43% are that think Biden is doing a good job.
That's increased because last I heard it was 36%.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, well, it seems to fluctuate day to day. It depends on what poll you look at.
And Lizzie Warren says, didn't confront the fentanyl crisis. The wall addressed the fentanyl crisis. What drug is she taking? And Nikki lied to get elected in South Carolina, Lizzie Warren.
And name me a president that hasn't added to the national debt when they got in office.
Also,
what has this guy? What has this guy done? If President Trump added $8 trillion to it, how much have we added to it? Another 13?
We've added $1 trillion in just the last 90 days. So do the math. Mm-hmm. I mean, and here's the thing: we're paying more on the debt to service the debt than we are to be able to pay it off. So we're basically paying interest at this point on the debt. They need to get it under control. I have no idea why they keep pushing that we need to give money to Ukraine. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, Bill. They don't understand.
Every time we turn around, this guy is coming in here for another 10 billion, $10 trillion or whatever it is.
Well, yes, and here's the other thing. It's like we don't have the money.
Yeah.
There's no money, Bill.
Yes, exactly. We're just printing it.
Yeah, and guess who that hurts? That hurts it hurts the middle class. It hurts the people of lower economic means, and we need to get it under control. I will say Vivek, he was at AmFest over the weekend. We'll have some highlights of that later on in the show, but he talked about how, you need to get the Fed under control. You have to harness them. You cannot allow them to keep messing with the interest rates because it's messing with the economy. It's messing with people's ability to have the American dream. Mm-hmm. And no one has really addressed the Fed in a very long time. So,
and you know how you stop this war in Ukraine? Start drilling for our own oil.
Yep, that would help.
Russia wouldn't be able to sell their oil at such high prices, nor would some of the terrorists that are out there firing at kill. What was it that how many drones did we shoot down over the weekend? Something like 23 drones that we shot down coming out of Yemen. Let's say, go ahead and nuke Yemen, for God's sake.
Well, here's the thing. I am not a fan of war. I'm not a fan of us continuing to participate in wars. I do think that we've gotten a little heavy-handed in that way. Mm-hmm. And I do think that there are solutions. Here's the thing. Guess what? The war with Russia and Ukraine could end like this if you're willing to negotiate. But they're not willing to negotiate because they're still funneling money for some reason through this country. I'm sure as the Hunter Biden stuff, if we actually get to the truth of what's going on with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, I think we would see the amount of money being filtered through there. But I think it would implicate way too many people in Congress if we found out what was happening. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that we'll ever get to the bottom of that. But I would like to, but I'm just not super confident in that. And Lizzie Warren says money to Ukraine, but Trump's wall was too expensive. And they're just drilling right through it now. They're just taking out pieces of the wall and climbing right on in. And no one's doing anything about it.
But the thing is, the wall was already paid for. I mean, we never mind what the expense is. It's already said and done. But they didn't finish it, and all of those pieces that were ready to go and to complete it are now pretty much either collecting dust and rust, or they're being sold off at pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, they're Welcome to Joe Biden's America, where he sells you out and continues to collect money.
Yeah, amazing how that works. All right, coming up next.
Well, we'll be talking about the border because what else is going on?
Yeah, well, and also have a tribute to a wonderful friend and broadcaster, and who was passed away over the weekend, and I was absolutely stunned and amazed and saddened. Come to you with a heavy heart this morning over the death of John Weatherby. We'll be talking about that a little bit later this morning, coming up after this.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Glad to have you aboard on this Monday morning. Here it is, the 18th day of December, 1 week away from Christmas, 2 weeks away from New Year's.
Yes, and 2024, going to be wild. So I hope you're preparing, getting some rest right now.
As much as I enjoy these holidays and in this stretch here, I think it's kind of a shame that we have all of our really big holidays all in one about 2 month period. You've got Thanksgiving, and then it goes right into Christmas, then right into New Year's, all right there together, rather than have it spread out a little more. But that's just me.
Well, but then I don't know, because then you have Easter in the spring, and then you have
don't forget Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And
the 4th of July. 4th of July is my favorite holiday.
And guys, don't forget Valentine's Day.
Yeah, your wife will be upset, even though this was created.
That's right. And I always love that song, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yeah.
Let the guy show up without the present, okay? Okay, here I am. and what else you got with you?
You better go to the store. You better figure it out quick.
Yeah, boy.
Get online. Print out a piece of paper. It didn't come, but it's coming. I promise.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Bill, I will tell you, I'm really sick of the Democrats. I know that we talk about them all the time.
I know.
But,
they are destroying America.
Yes. Well, Democratic Rep Jasmine Crockett from Texas is talking about how the Republicans, for their demands for this border security is they need to just knock it off. They need to stop it. They don't know how to solve problems.
Okay. So what do we do otherwise? Let everybody in? Is that what kind of stupidity is this?
I'm very concerned because the Republicans have never gotten immigration right. That's just the fact of it. There's not very much that the Republicans get right in general. And so to basically say that issues of national security as it relates to how we're going to take care of our allies should be tied to this mangled immigration process is absolutely insane. I mean, when you look at somebody like Greg Abbott, my governor, and his solution is to basically say, hey, we're going to kill people that are trying to come in. Like, that's not a solution. Like, the Republicans don't have the solutions. They want to continue to defund the aid that is going, not the aid, but they're continuing to defund border security. Well, I mean, who's going to sign up for this job and you're not paying worth anything?
So I think that's incorrect as well.
Is she just answering her own argument or contradicting her own argument?
Yeah, well, they're not defunding the border security.
No, they're not.
They're asking for more of it. Mm-hmm. And turns out if you protect your border and you threaten to kill people if they come across illegally, it tends to stop, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
It's weird how that works.
It's amazing how well that works sometimes.
Yeah, and I don't know if she's been in any city in Texas or maybe Chicago or, you know.
Didn't you say she was from Texas?
Yeah.
She was on, messed up DNC?
Yeah, but don't know where she's hanging out because it's a huge issue. If you go to, there's so many people that are now trying to move out of Texas into another city because of how bad it's gotten there. Mm-hmm. But I hate to break it to you, it's bad everywhere. I don't know if you know this, but Chicago, Illinois is not anywhere near the southern border. But
let me.
Yeah, can you look that up?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's nowhere near that. It's closer to the.
Oh, we're worried now. The Canadian border is the one that's being penetrated now.
Yeah.
So how are they getting there?
Very odd, Bill. Very, very odd. But Ben Bergquam was in Chicago again over the weekend, and he was talking to people. And the one guy that really struck me was the pastor that he speaks with, because I do think that the tide is turning. I don't think that we can rely on this, but I do think it's good to start seeing this stuff and good to see it start being broadcasted everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Have been open, and now we have all these people inundated here in Chicago, and these people are living tax-free of taxpayer dollars, and our own citizens are sleeping and don't have anywhere to go. I think it's a damn shame, and the American people and patriots across this country should be outraged, and we should be holding these Democrats accountable for the actions they've taken against this country and our American way of life. We need to get Donald Trump back into office, because under the Trump leadership, black people flourished. Trump was good for the black community as we know of it. We didn't have no wars. We wasn't begging nobody for nothing. We was well respected in the world, and now we're the laughing stock of the world. We have no morals and values, and the American people deserve better. We deserve a president like Donald Trump. And by the way, Democrats, as a pastor and a true man of God, it is my job to make sure that we get God-fearing people in office. You will not come to Chicago and you will not celebrate the things that you've done. You've spit in the black community face. We will boycott that convention and let the Democratic Party know no longer are we going to sit back and watch you destroy our communities and destroy this country. God bless America.
How do you justify leaving the amount of people on the streets that are out here? And you building tents, warm tents, to house 2,000 illegals? I went from tent to tent. Some of these people are veterans. How do you justify people being homeless at this rate?
We're seeing increased taxes. We're struggling to pay our mortgages. We're struggling to pay our bills. And we have thousands of dollars every month, millions of dollars, $500 million this year to support foreign nationals. And that's coming out of our pocket. It's going to people from another country, from foreign nationals. Those countries have to take care of their people. We just don't have the resources. You know, it's nothing against them, but we just don't have it. You know, we're struggling. This is government oppression at its finest. As a veteran myself, I just talked to a veteran in this tent right here. You know, we're seeing people who have given their all to their country, and we just cast them out by the expressway with the trash. This is unconscionable, and it's unconstitutional. Meanwhile, we have to follow every law. We can't go over the speed limit without getting a ticket sent to our house, but people can violate federal law, and we come in and roll out the welcome mat, give them our home equity, give them our sales taxes. They get the best of our schools. Meanwhile, something like 90% of black children are not reading, writing, and doing math proficiency, but they do it all under the guise of this fake diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense. We just need to start voting differently. We need to start pulling ourselves out of these government institutions, starting with the public school system. We need to move on from big government and from the city of Chicago's political machine.
Trump 2024?
Trump 2024.
This is taken away from American citizens. American children who are already struggling academically. You're going to bring in a new group of children, a new group of people, take those resources away from Americans to accommodate this new group of people. That is going to make the children going to fall further behind. Unemployment is going through the roof. Poverty, crime. This is going to impact our communities across this city to the point to where violence, murder, robbery is going to spike. Not just with Americans, but also with these people coming here. 3,000 illegal immigrants are living in this factory, almost, a half a block long? And this is going to transcend into public housing. They keep saying that there will be no public housing for illegal immigrants. That's not true. So we pay to be homeless, basically, now as United States citizens. We're going to flip Chicago red. The Democratic Party is done in Chicago, and that's a fact. By summer, you think it's a lot of them coming in. You watch the uprising of red in Chicago. And we say, President Trump, come here and we'll walk you all through this city and you don't have to worry about a protest. We send a message to the Democratic Party, Trump 2024. Make no mistake about it. Trump 2024.
I think that they're getting
Finally
to the
had
point.
enough.
Yep. The point of having enough. But I think the other thing, I don't think that they've ever been impacted in this way where they see that the money that they pay in taxes is not going to their community. It's actually going to people that have never paid taxes. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's where, you're getting a lot of these people saying this is wrong and I no longer will vote for you guys. You no longer can buy me.
It's, if we keep saying, if you'd written a book about this 10 years ago, you'd have been thrown out of every publisher's house in the world because they would say, nothing is that crazy. Nothing would ever get that crazy. We thought the Hunger Games was crazy. Mm-hmm. We're getting there.
Well, and Lizzie Warren says, I hope they vote red, but I've seen this movie before. The Democrats will try to find a way to buy their vote. Here's the thing. They have never been impacted. So that money is being transferred from the black community mm-hmm. to the illegals. That has not ever happened. And they're struggling and their benefits are being cut. They're seeing their quality of life go down. I'm sure that they didn't get more benefits just because inflation went up. I'm pretty sure of that. So, mm-hmm. And I do think that during the Trump years, Trump was very, very pro-Black America. And we had less unemployment in the Black community, in every community, but in the Black community specifically, than we'd had in previous years. He gave money to the Black colleges, which, okay, I disagree. I don't think we should be giving any money to the colleges because we see how they've used that. But I do think that Trump really cared about, he did the opportunity zones. I think that was a really big thing that he did that helped the Black community. But as soon as Joe Biden got in, they disappeared. Imagine that.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly fond of his, prison reform type thing. But at least he started working on it, which other presidents had given lip service to. Move the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. That was, and of course, and listen to all the negative that he got from that. It'll start World War III. There'll be this huge protest. Well, there wasn't. And all the years I heard about, every time I heard about the Middle East peace process, I always fell off the couch in hysteria. And then who got a peace deal? The guy who couldn't. They kept saying that he has no experience in foreign relations. He had plenty of experience in foreign relations. He was an international businessman, for God's sakes. He was negotiating with these people all over the world.
Well, and I know that there's some conflict over the prison reform issue, but when you have people that are in prison for nonviolent crimes for 15, 20 years, I don't think that that's right.
No, I agree.
Violent criminals.
That one lady that he got out. for it was some little minor charge that you'd have normally gotten 3 years for,
Yeah.
and she was in for 20 to life.
Well, here's the other thing. Look at what they're doing to, we have another reporter, I can't think of his name right now. He actually works for The Blaze, that is having to surrender himself tomorrow because of January 6th, because he was there, he covered it, he's a reporter, and he is now going to have to surrender himself to the FBI tomorrow. The fact that this kind of stuff is happening, people are being held in prison for, just being in D.C. that day, I think that it's a huge issue. Huge issue.
Yeah, and how many years has it been now? Coming up on the anniversary? What, 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 years in just a couple of weeks.
And they're still arresting people for it. That's the other thing. We've seen all this video come out from the Capitol showing that it was an inside job, and yet they're still arresting people. There's something really wrong in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that there are some big issues that we're going to have to deal with, and hopefully we'll have a Republican president that deals with them. But
yeah, well, coming up next, a great loss to the broadcast community and a good friend. We'll be back in a moment.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
What happened?
Well, when you opened up the Chewy box, you went a bit...
bonkers. That's one word for it.
I guess I blacked out. This is the best squeaky toy ever.
Probably shouldn't, but we did get you a few more gifts.
Honey.
Ooh, there's more.
Chewy's prices were so great.
You don't need to explain yourself, Linda. Keep on saving.
Pets aren't just pets. They're more.
Well, I hope I got a leaf blower this year.
You got a turtleneck.
Unwrap the excitement this holiday season with great deals from Chewy.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Coming to you this morning with a heavy heart. Lost a good friend in the broadcast industry, lost a great meteorologist just last Thursday, John Weatherby, unexpectedly. He was a chief meteorologist at WTOC, the Big Red Digital High Definition 11, for over 10 years. And yet WTOC couldn't find it in their broadcast time to put that on the air. The other two stations mentioned it, WJCL, thank you, WSAV, they're on your side, and they mentioned it. Tina Tyus Shaw even put a nice picture up where she had seen John at a convention, and it was a picture of her and John together. And he was on, probably, you could be somewhere in New York State and hear John's weather forecast. You could be in California and hear John's weather forecast. He did weather for something like 300 or 400 markets. I don't know how the guy did it. I first met him, when it was Clear Channel Radio, when I was working at WTKS, and then it became iHeartMedia later. But he came to town as our operations manager and was there for 3 years. I never worked for a nicer guy. Brittany, he had the remarkable ability to tell people to go to hell in such a manner that you'd look forward to the trip. His tact, and I'll tell some more personal stories, but in just a moment. Of what this guy means, but to WTOC, shame on you for not saying anything. I know that he left under some, maybe whatever the personal reasons or personnel reasons were for getting rid of him unceremoniously at the Big Red Digital 11. Shame on you for not saying anything. Somebody finally told me they had it either on their website or their Facebook page or something. But the fact that you didn't lead with this on Thursday night is disgraceful. Disgraceful. I'm sorry. That's all there is to it. But this guy was really not only being a nice guy, but he was a fantastic broadcaster, Emmy Award winner. He was going to be or will be inducted into the Georgia Broadcasting Hall of Fame in March.
Wow.
And here's a little snippet of John Weatherby's career in life.
National radio meteorologist John Weatherby passes away. Career radio meteorologist John Weatherby has passed away, numerous affiliates confirm. Known as Big John for his 6'9" height, Weatherby was a familiar voice to audiences across the country in Ohio, California, Illinois, and his home state of Georgia. In 1997, Big John launched his radio weather service, providing unique forecasts to 161 radio stations nationwide and 3 networks, in collaboration with the Envision Radio Network. His extensive expertise led him to serve as chief meteorologist for CBS TV stations in Atlanta and Savannah, as well as in Nashville and Chattanooga, and on radio stations in numerous markets including Los Angeles, Portland, Chicago, Indianapolis, Athens, and Atlanta. He also spent 3 years as operations manager for Clear Channel Savannah and on air talent on 98.7 The River.
So a farewell. I first met John when he came in as our operations manager. He came in and introduced himself, and he was one of those bosses that you didn't think he was the boss. He had that velvet gloved hand that he handled any kind of crisis with. I never heard him say a cross word about anybody, and he was loved by everybody. Just one of those guys. To know him was to love him. You're one of those people that when you meet, you like him immediately, and you feel like you've been friends for a long time. And one of the things that really impressed me was that he didn't take he would come in and compliment me on something that I said on the air, something that I did. He was a great audience. He would come in and laugh at some joke that I had told or some routine that we had done or some bit that I'd done, and was always pleasant. Even to the time that I was a little late for sometimes when you have a show that starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, every once in a while you might oversleep a little bit. One morning I overslept, and I had a station car at the time, so it was marked, and I was rushing to get to work, and I was kind of, let's say, running through red lights. Now, I was stopping at every red light to make sure that nothing was coming in either direction or I wasn't going to cause any problem. But somebody from, I think a Gulfstream worker or something called corporate and ratted on me and said that I was driving recklessly and I was endangering people's lives and things of that nature. And John called me into his office, and we sat down. He started talking, and he said, "This is the part where I'm supposed to chew you out." And instead of chewing me out, he just said, you can't drive the car anymore, but this is what happened to me. Then he told an experience of what he did the same thing, and he was late for work one morning when he was doing early morning radio and actually crashed his own personal vehicle, but he actually hit a tree or a telephone pole or something and bloodied his head and things, and he had to run the rest of the way to the radio station, only about a block away from wherever he was working. That's the kind of person he was. And he started doing it because he was such a great meteorologist. And you could see him when I came in the morning. I would usually get there about 5 o'clock in the morning. He was already there in one of the back studios, calling all these radio stations around the country where he did weather reports for them. He was so smooth. He deserves to be in. He should have been the Georgia Broadcasting Hall of Fame a long time ago. And it's just a shame that he won't be there personally to receive this high honor. But nevertheless, but I digress. But the fact that he started working at TOC on the weekends, filling in for and he was so smooth, he was so good, he was so popular. Within months, he was their chief meteorologist, and he resigned from the radio station, which was a disappointment to all of us there. But he was doing such a great job and was so popular. And for over 10 years, the chief meteorologist at WTOC, something happened. Don't know what it was, what kind of personnel matter it was, and that's should remain sub rosa and just people who were involved. None of the public's business as to what happened there. There wasn't anything nefarious, but for them not to even mention it, somebody said it was either on their Facebook page or their web page or something, is Bush League. I'm sorry. That is just disgusting. And thank you to the other two stations, WSAV and to WJCL, who did mention it. Just about 3 weeks ago, ever since he left TOC, he still lived in Savannah, lived in the area, and we kept talking. We stayed in constant contact over the phone or through text or things of that nature. I kept saying, John, we're supposed to get together for that lunch or something that you said we were going to talk over. About 3 weeks ago, he called me out of the blue and said, let's have lunch. And I've got some time tomorrow. Can we have lunch? And we sat down together, had a great lunch, had a great exchange, and I was hoping that we were going to rekindle a personal relationship and get together more often. He looked in fine shape. Now, understand that he may have had cancer, and that there's also talk of that he maybe had died of a heart attack, concerning with all the treatment, cancer treatment going on associated with that. I didn't. If he did, I didn't. It certainly didn't appear that 3 weeks ago, and the fact that I would have been the last time that I'd seen him was really just caught me so much by surprise. And he is going to be missed. He is a great talent, and he was so smooth and and he was the same in person as he was on the air. Just a very nice guy. Leaves behind a wife and family and children and grandchildren and some brothers and sisters and things like that. But what a loss to our business and to me personally. And once again, to TOC, shame on you.
Well, and Steve Stanton Sr. Had a couple of comments regarding this. He said they crapped on him, so why should they? Mm-hmm. And then he's 6'2", and I felt like a short person around him. So I guess he was pretty tall.
Yeah, 6'9". He was almost 6'9".
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. It looked like he'd been good start in the NBA tomorrow.
Oh right. Yeah, that is very tall.
But a very nice man, and crapped on him is a good way to put it, Steve. But I'm sorry, but that's in the past, and that has nothing to do with the fact that he was a great broadcaster. He's about to be inducted into the Georgia Broadcasting Hall of Fame, and he was their chief meteorologist for 10 years. For them not to even mention it is disgusting. Just disgusting. How pathetic. That's a state of our business now. The basic problem with the broadcast business is it's not run by broadcasters. Fortunately, I got to work for two people who were broadcasters who were my managers, and when something goofed up or they understood it. They didn't get fussed at. Other managers who didn't have a clue as to which end of what came out of the transmitter, or what a transmitter was. Would be fussing at me for something and not understanding it. When you work for a broadcaster, they understand it, and he was one of them. And it's pathetic. I'm sorry, TOC, shame on you. Just shame on you.
Well, and Mary McKen Hybrider says, so sorry for your loss, Bill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I know, and don't give me the stuff about glass houses and all that stuff. The TOC, you should be ashamed of yourselves. But I'm sure they won't. No. We're still asking them why they and the rest of the media didn't show up for Stephen Friend. It should have been their lead story. The FBI whistleblower from Savannah that was here at Ladies on the Right Media a month ago.
Yeah, and I don't see the media changing too much around here.
Oh, hell no. That's why we need to still be around. We could use your help.
Yes, if you would like to give us a Christmas present and keep us on the air, make sure you go to thelocalspin.com and you can become a member there. You can donate and you can also advertise with us. Mm-hmm. So when we get back, we'll be looking at the highlights from AmFest this weekend, which was quite a spectacle. Basically the grassroots of the Republican Party meeting together, America First. And I wish I was there to attend because I'm sure the energy was crazy.
And tell it like it is. Yes. Stay real.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership. allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Glad to have you aboard on this Monday, 1 week from Christmas, 2 weeks from New Year's.
Yes, and probably one of the wildest years coming up, 2024.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to hear what Bill and I have to say about what crazy is about to come, make sure you go to The Local Spin and support us. So we will see you in January.
We need your help.
Yes. So Turning Point Action, Turning Point
USA.
Yes, they're on top of it, Bill.
They are on fire. I love this group.
Well, and they hosted AmFest in Arizona, and that's where Charlie Kirk lives. Charlie Kirk, of course, is the owner of Turning Point USA, and the founder. And there so many great people there speaking. Vivek was there. I did not pull his clip because it said the F word in it, but he basically said F you to Van Jones, who was trying to call him out for being untruthful when actually Van Jones is quite a liar himself.
A communist calling you out for lying is something that is to be admired.
Yes, and Steve Bannon, love him, hate him. He is fairly brilliant. 70, he just turned 70, but probably one of the best analysts when it comes to a lot of the stuff going on right now.
Oh, no doubt.
And this is what he had to say about people that are under the age of 35.
And let me give it to you straight. If you're under 35 years old, you are screwed. Let me be blunt. You're screwed. You know why? And they say it out loud. It's just not the lawfare and coming after you. If you get out of line, they're going to other you or make sure you get bounced from your company, or all the propaganda and the climate change and the anxiety and all the drugs they gave you when you were kids, right? Everything to break people, not to support them and have them fulfill their destiny. Here's how I know they're going to come after you. Even worse. Look at what the Federal Reserve and the Treasury said the other day, right? They're going to have 4 rate cuts. They're going to flood the zone with fiat currency. We have $34 trillion in debt as of tomorrow, not 33. We've added $1 trillion in 90 days. Trailing 12 months is $2.5 trillion of deficits. Our deficit is $200 billion a month. You would never do this kind of Keynesian stimulus, except they're doing it to defeat Trump. That's the convergence of forces. And they are sacrificing every person in this room, in the nation, under 35 years old.
And I don't think he's wrong. I think they really are going after, they're taking away young people's future.
Yeah.
And Steve Stanton Sr. said he's hitting the nail on the head. Bannon is probably one of my favorite when it comes to analysis, and he has been saying the debt is more than they're telling you. Of course, when the reporting came out in November, he was like, I told you. They lied, and they tried to cover it up. So
they do that. It's always interesting, Brittany. They do that with these employment numbers.
Oh,
they said,
they
created so many jobs. Of course, these are the jobs that are actually coming back after they shut everything down 3 years ago for that stupid COVID crap. But they say we created all these jobs, and look at this. And this is and so you should be proud of us because Bidenomics is working. We've created all these jobs.
No.
And then of course a month or two later they said we're having to revise that down another couple of 100,000 jobs.
Mhm.
It wasn't 400,000 that was created. It was only 200,000 that was created.
But they got their headline. When
Mhm.
it's retracted,
Oh,
no
yeah.
one pays attention. So
Exactly.
they got what they wanted.
Mhm.
And they are, I mean, they're not accounting for all the layoffs that are currently happening across the country, which
Mhm.
I've heard about for the last 2 months. So, yeah, the economy's not going well. I don't care what they try to tell you. Do not, they always tell you, do not believe your lying eyes.
Mhm.
But what is happening is real. They are laying off a bunch of people. The economy's not going well. Doesn't matter how much they tell you that it is. It's not going good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put all the lipstick on this pig you want to. It ain't coming.
Go to the grocery store. That's all the reality you need.
Exactly.
Lizzie Warren says, in Europe, most young people only own a house if they inherit one. That's scary that might be where we're at in this country. And the debt is more and the number of illegals in this country is more. It sure is. And our tax money is currently going to pay for that instead of going to pay for, things like roads or, I don't know, maybe helping our own people. That might be a solid way to look at that. I mean, that's what the Republicans need to do.
Helping our own
Yes,
people.
yes.
Let me write
That's
this
what
down.
Republicans need to do. They need to seize this opportunity and say, the Democrats have taken the money that we should be helping the Americans with, and they've given it to illegals. That will ring true for most people, especially the people that have not voted Republican. I think that we need to have better messaging, and I don't know if that will happen because
Maybe there's too much wokeness in our corporations now, but I would love to see them finally come out with advertising. Like I'd like to see General Motors or Ford come out and say, this is our new Ford F-150, and we've decided not to make electric Fords anymore because it's cost us too much money, and the sub-morons that are running this country don't seem to understand that. And start calling these people out. Stupid governor, and they'll say, stupid governors like you have in California and Michigan want to get rid of all these, gas-powered vehicles and things because I think in the next year or two, Brittany, out in California, they're going to be if you have a lawn care business or something, you can't use gas-powered lawn equipment.
so stupid.
Lawnmowers, leaf blowers, whatever.
If you want to see what it looks like when stupid is in charge, go to California.
Yeah. So corporate America, I'd love for you to start doing ads like that and start calling these people out.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, Benny Johnson, he has a podcast. He's been really influential, especially with the younger generations. He's the one that went to East Palestine and gave out $1,000. He got $1,000, I think, to 10, 12 people. So he is doing good things. He does try to give back.
How are things in East Palestine, by the way?
I don't think they're going that well.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think they've still seen any money or anything or help from the government. I think maybe they got $900 like the people in Hawaii.
Yeah, and what they ought, if what they ought to do is get the Chamber of Commerce to say, hey, remember money for Palestine? Remember, we're Palestine.
Yeah.
So.
But Benny Johnson, he had some advice for people on how you counter what's going on in the world.
This is what it looks like to be unshakable, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain that. Young men, we're just going to cut right to it. If you want to be an immovable mountain in your life, if you wish to be a strong alpha, I beg you, find a woman. Fall in love. Get married. Have more children than you can afford. Have insane amounts of kids. There's nothing the world can do to shake you if you do those simple steps. And if you acknowledge that God loves you and has a purpose for your life, that's it. That's it. And you are immovable, unshakable.
I loved his advice. I thought that was really good advice, especially since that is not what they are telling young people today. They're telling them that they need to be gender fluid and all this crazy stuff now.
Well, yeah, and not to have you see these climate change idiots that are saying, and you wouldn't bring a child into the world because it's not going to exist in 5 years.
They've been saying that for so long.
Yeah,
I think I've seen the breakdown of that, and it's shameful.
Remember the Al Gore, who invented the internet, just in 2000 put out his book, An Inconvenient Truth. And the experts who went through it said there is at least 6 or 12 lies in this thing, or just inaccuracies. And by the way, there are no footnotes to understand that book. It's like he just made this stuff up. And he said that within 5 years, so this is 2000 now, within 5 years, our kids won't know what snow is.
I was living in Utah at that time in 2005.
Do you know what snow is?
Oh, yes, we knew what snow was.
Oh, okay. And that was after 2005?
2005, I graduated from high school, and that was...
There was still snow?
There was still snow that year. It's really weird.
Okay, so
and the year after.
All right, maybe he missed it by 10 years. So
yeah.
Let's go to 2015. Did we still have snow? Was there snow?
Yeah, there was still snow. There's still snow. 2020, I was there. 2021, I was there. Still snow, turns out. Mm-hmm. Weird how that happens.
Yeah, it's kind of like all these preachers that kept telling you where the end of the world was.
Yeah.
And getting you to buy into their preaching when the millennial, the 2000 thing, we had actually had a church here that had bought 18-wheelers.
Oh.
And to move out, and they bought land in Arkansas.
Okay.
Because the end of the world was coming, and that guy's not in town anymore.
Weird.
It cost a lot of people a lot of money into bankruptcy because they bought into this in the year 2000. All the computers are going to go crazy. I always wondered that.
That was a fun year.
Yeah,
that was actually a really fun year, especially when midnight hit and everything was still the same.
The computers wouldn't know that it was, to go back to 1900. Well, how would the computer know it was 1900?
So funny.
What does a computer know?
Yeah. Mary McCann Hybrider says, "Wake up, America. We are all one nation. We have to stop the division and come together. It is good versus evil. It isn't political. It isn't Republican versus Democrat."
Exactly.
I agree with you, Mary. Although I will say the Democrats are, their policies are really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Lizzie Warren says, "Joe, let them eat cake, Biden." And Steve Stanton Sr., Al Gore, king of MAGA-crats.
Uh-huh.
And Lizzie Warren says, "Savannah had snow in January of 2018. So
sure did. Yeah.
He definitely missed the boat there.
Yes, sirree. So
and
guy that invented the internet, I'm sorry, it was a little off base on the environment. And they keep telling you this stuff. And they keep moving it back.
That's the thing. It's like it never happens. So at what point are people going to be like, they're lying? So hopefully that comes soon.
And why did they have to change it from global warming or global cooling to climate change?
Because it wasn't working out.
Yeah, because they had. I think there was one global warming summit they had to cancel because of a blizzard. So it's kind of like
funny how that works.
It's kind of like the old story about the psychics that were having a meeting. And there was an earthquake or something like that. Said, if these people were so good, how come they didn't predict this? Or why were they meeting there? Why didn't somebody predict the earthquake? That's good.
Yeah. Well, and Mary McCann Hybrider said, "It is all about creating fear." It absolutely is.
Sure.
And Charlie Kirk, he...
bless his heart.
Yes, he has been amazing in this movement. I think that he has really helped catapult the grassroots on the Republican side, on the conservative side. And he didn't hold back any punches when he spoke at AmFest this weekend, and he said, "This is what Republicans need to do."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Ronna McRomney has to resign as chair of the RNC. She has got to resign. Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? She's got to go. Well, there you go. Oh, that's nice. I'm sick of being nice. I want to win. Everybody, I don't know about you, but I've cut enough excuses for these Republicans over the last decade. I've seen enough. These Republicans need to feel the heat of the grassroots. And do you want to know the good news, everybody? The good news is that you get it, but your leaders don't. Number one, to remake the Republican Party as a grassroots party from the bottom up and kick out the Romneys, the Paul Ryans from the Republican Party once and for all. Number two, holding our leaders accountable. It is not enough just to win elections. We need Republicans to act like conservatives, not just Republican in name only when they go to Washington, D.C., when they betray their voters. You are repulsed when you see that go-go dancer show up with the turtle and Chuck U. Schumer and demand more of your taxpayer dollars while we are being invaded on a daily basis. I find it insulting that Senate Republicans have been able to get $200 billion to Ukraine while we cannot secure the southern border.
Telling it like it is.
He was on fire over the weekend. Again, that is AmFest. They will have another one, I'm sure of it. There was some rumors that the next one will be in Georgia. There is no way to confirm that at this moment, but if it is here, I will be going. So,
let's hope. Yeah. Maybe we can do our broadcast in there if we're still here. So
yes.
Help us out.
Yes, remember to go to thelocalspin.com. You can become a member. You can also subscribe and donate. And you can also advertise with us.
Please. We're a lot cheaper than the nationally owned television stations here, okay?
And it turns out we have more circulation than Savannah Morning News.
Yeah, Savannah Morning News has a circulation of about 9,000 now.
So.
And we got more than that.
So there you go. Make sure you support us, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Stay real.